Welcome guys, this is Alka193 with the milestone of Duel 50! Yeah, we're at the 50th duel already. And I'm really loving doing this, so I'm gonna continue doing it. Why the heck not? Alright, in this duel I'm using a Final Countdown version 2012 against 888kiddeath888, who is using anti-meta. Now why is it Final Countdown v.2012? Well, if you remember, I've used the Final Countdown deck twice before in my duel videos. But that was a deck that I made back in the start of 2011 in Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2011 over the Nexus. That wasn't too consistent. This one works a lot better. That's why this is version 2012, because I made it in 2012 and it works well this year. And if you, even though I'll probably won't be using Final Countdown much more often, maybe once more, unless someone requests it again, if I'll use it in the future, it'll very likely be this one, because it's just more consistent. So, what's the idea behind this deck for those that don't know yet? It's all about stalling. And one spell, Final Countdown. Final Countdown is one of those cards that has an effect that lets you instantly win the game. Well, not instantly the moment you activate it, but the effect will be able to give you the win. So it's not a win like depleting the opponent's life points, having them deck out. Not that. It's like, there are certain effects in the game that can give you a win. Destiny Board is one of them. The most well known is most definitely Exodia, the Forbidden One. Final Countdown is also one of such cards. It is a normal spell card, and when you activate it, you pay 2,000 life points. Then, the 20th turn, at the end of the 20th turn after you activate Final Countdown, counting the turn you activated Final Countdown as the first turn, you win the game. So that's 10 of your turns, 10 of the opponent's turns, then it's over. And you win the game. So usually you'd really like to have Final Countdown as soon as possible. I don't get it immediately, but I get it not too long after. Here I play Final Countdown, pay my 2,000 life points, and from here on out it's 20 turns until victory. Will I be able to get there? You'll have to watch until the end, because it gets pretty exciting. Now, I have a lot of monsters, spells, and traps that can help me stall. Example, Frozen Soul. I can only activate that card when I have at least 2,000 life points less than the opponent, and due to Final Countdown, I pay 2,000, so I can play Frozen Soul. I have Waboku, which the turn you activate it, my monsters won't be destroyed by battle, and I don't take any battle damage. I have Thunder of Ruler, which has the opponent can only be activated in the standby phase and has the opponent skip their battle phase. Let's see, what else do I have? Threatening Roar, making the opponent unable to declare an attack. I have Sword of Revealing Light, which stays on the field for 3 of the opponent's turns. They can't declare an attack. I have Monster Cyber Valley. When it's targeted for an attack, you can banish it and draw a card. Oh yeah. Before I continue talking about that, here's a cool combo that my opponent has. Zephyros and Gale. Zephyros is normal summoned. When there's a Blackwing face up on the field, you can special summon Gale from your hand. Now he gets Zephyros into the graveyard with a synchro with effect failure. Then Zephyros has an effect. You can return one face-up card you control to your hand, take 400 damage, and then special summon Zephyros. You return Gale. Zephyros is special summon, so it's face up in your field. So, because you have a Blackwing on your field, you can just special summon Gale again and go for another synchro summon when you want that, which is what he did. And here I'm kinda screwed, because, yeah, he has so much power that he would destroy me, but there's one card in my hand that is saving me at this point, which is Swift Scarecrow. Very helpful in a Final Countdown deck. Because if the opponent declares a direct attack, you can activate its effect. You discard it, you negate the attack, you end the battle phase, which saved me here. 4 turns into final countdown, 16 more to stall. Now the monster I decided to go with here is Zero Gardener. It has a quick effect, meaning you can also activate it in the opponent's turn. When you contribute it, and then for the rest of the turn, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle, and you won't be taking any battle damage either. So I guess it's sort of a monster version of Waboku, the trap that I currently have in my hand. But he has Doom Caliber Knight, and whenever anyone activates an effect, Doom Caliber Knight tributes itself and negates that effect. Always. You can't choose to do so. So I use Zero Gardener's effect to get rid of Doom Caliber so that he can't stop any of my other stuff. And then Waboku just made sure I didn't take any damage for that turn. Play Gold Sarcophagus, banish 1 day of peace, which I'll get back in my second turn after this. And Gold Sarcophagus, unlike Final Countdown, only counts my turn, so that'll take 4 Final Countdown turns. Now, 1 day of peace is also a very useful card in a Final Countdown deck. It's used in more kind of decks, Exodia also as well, because both players get to draw a card when you play it, which is a +1 for both, so that's okay. But the most important thing for the player of 1 day of peace is that 1 day of peace makes that neither player takes damage until the end of the opponent's next turn. So not during the rest of your turn, not during their turn. So that way you're safe for 1 turn. And here he attacks Zero Gardener, but I just use its effect, send it to the graveyard, and I'm safe for this. Here I get 1 day apiece. He anticipates that I'm playing it, so I'll just send it to the graveyard. And I get Battle Fader. Battle Fader, quite similar to Swift Scarecrow. When the opponent declares a direct attack, you can play its effect. Both end the battle phase and negate the attack, but Swift Scarecrow is sent to the graveyard. Battle Fader is special summon instead. But when special summon in that way, it is banished after it leaves the field, but that doesn't usually matter that much. Here I draw another 1 day of peace, which I really like, but it's just kind of annoying for him. Now, I believe face down lying I have Frozen Soul. I can't exactly remember, but yeah, as I said earlier on in the duel, yeah, it's Frozen Soul. But yeah, I need 2,000 life points or more less than my opponent, but due to his Zephyros's effect making him take 400 damage, the difference is only 1,600, so I can't play that card. Now here I'm safe due to 1 day of peace not making me take any damage. Draw Final Countdown. Nah, not exactly favorable, but I do run 3 in my deck because you really want to play Final Countdown as soon as you can at the start of the duel, and not having to stall to get Final Countdown. You want Final Countdown as soon as you can, and then stall. So here I play both Waboku and Swords, since we're 14 turns in, and Sword stays on the field for 3 of his turns, so in total 6 turns if you count mine as well. That'll be the end. Swords will stay on the field until the end of Final Countdown. So he uses Scrap Dragon's effect, gets rid of itself to get rid of Waboku. But yeah, I have Swords on the field, so he can't attack now. So I'm honestly wondering why he decided to destroy Scrap Dragon and not destroy like Catastor or Thunder King. Because I was like, you know, that he could have used Scrap Dragon's effect next turn. Here I play Pot of Duality, add a Thunder of Ruler to my hand. Right now I'm thinking he has Thunder King Ryo. I'm pretty sure I can't play Pot of Duality then. Must have forgotten. Wow, this maybe even made a difference. I've got to check. Because I'm gonna play Thunder of Ruler here. I don't play it in the standby phase because here I'm asking him if he's okay with it if I upload this to my YouTube channel. But I'm like, oh shit, right after I post this, I'm like, I want to play it. And if you like go back a few seconds, you'll see that I activated before he summons Scrap Dragon. So it's not like I would be taking advantage of him summoning Scrap Dragon, even though that was his likely choice. And I know my opponent will be watching this duel, and I'll say I was honest in the duel. I did plan to use it in the standby phase, but I'm sorry I was a little late because I was typing that message. But yeah, would I have not used Thunder of Ruler, then here he would have attacked directly, and I would have used Battle Fader, so I would have still been safe. I would have special summoned Battle Fader. Wouldn't have done anything. 19 turns, final countdown. And here he admits defeat, because he expects me to have either Battle Fader or Swift Scarecrow. I have both. Due to Pot of Duality not being allowed to use, pretty sure, if it is, I'm going to post it in an annotation, but I'm pretty sure you can't use Pot of Duality with Thunder King on the field, because Thunder King's effect doesn't allow you to add cards from your deck to your hand, except by drawing, and Pot of Duality isn't drawing. But since I drew Swift Scarecrow, I could have used that instead of Battle Fader, and I would have still won. So that's the end of the duel. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to upload a little more regularly than over the course of the last 1.5 weeks, because then I just didn't upload because I was doing other stuff. But I'm going to go back into the rhythm. I have test week coming up in 2.5 weeks, until 3.5 weeks from now, and then I'll be pretty much done with school. But I will be uploading duels. I have 8 duel requests, deck requests right now, and some of you might definitely be asking, where the heck are those deck requests? Because you say you've been busy with them, but what are you going to do with them? Well, I'll give you the list of the 8 deck requests that I currently have and say how far I am with each. First deck request that I have is the Worm archetype. The deck is done, has had multiple versions, but thanks to the help of multiple people on the forums, I've been able to improve it quite a lot, and it's doing pretty well right now. I just need to get used to the effects myself a bit more, and then I'll do that. Second one is Spellcaster Lockdown. That deck has known quite a few versions, but none of them really do work. They don't need to beat every meta deck in existence all the time, because none of the decks do. But I just can't get a consistent deck of that going. So I'm gonna leave that until a bit later. Third one is Light Ray. I'm going with Hero Light Ray with Daedalus and Gitterfried, and it's working quite well. I'm thinking of a few minor changes, but I really can't think of any good ones, so I'm gonna go with what I have right now. I've already asked on the forums for slight improvements, got those, but don't really know, so I'm gonna go with what I have there. The fourth one that I have is Neo Galaxy, so that's a deck that can easily summon Neo Galaxy as Photon Dragon. So there's a lot of level 8s, Galaxy Queen's Light. What I decided to go with is just use a Photon deck. So I'm using a Photon deck with Galaxy as Photon Kaiser, Photon Sanctuary, Twin Photon Lizard, Polymerization, Super Poly, all that stuff, and it's working really, really well. And the person who requested that also knows that it's working really well. He's also seen me use that, so I'm gonna guess that one is gonna be my next deck request video. Fifth one is a deck of only level 3 or lower monsters, no spells or traps, no extra deck either. Haven't done any work on that yet. Sixth one is Ally of Justice. I've thought of a few, the main cards, Imperial Custom, DNA Transplant, Ally of Justice, Unknown Crusher, and Black Salvo, I think. But for the rest, I haven't really thought of anything. Seventh one is quite a difficult one. It's one in which I summon Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. And that's going to be really difficult. And it's definitely not going to be a competitive deck, but I'm just going to make it and use it once and then never again use it, because this is one of those crazy deck requests, just like Kevin's first request, Duel 5 I believe it was. But that'll work. I'll just do that once. And he wants me to face Insectors or Dino Rabbits with that deck. Gonna be very difficult, but it's a fun one. And the final one is a request made by Kevin, using a Dragoonity deck, which is a deck I've been wanting to use myself for a long time as well, and I already have that finished, just playtesting it a bit, so that's gonna go. And now I have no clue how long this video is right now. I know the original duel itself is 10 minutes 19 seconds, but this is probably gone for a lot longer, but yeah. Deck requests coming up soon with new deck profiles and deck lists, and the 8 people that have already made a deck request, just wait until your deck request is done and then you can make a new one. But if you have any deck profile requests, so if you want to see deck profiles of decks that I've used before in duels that weren't deck requests, then you can suggest that I do a deck profile of that deck, because in the deck request duels I always do a deck profile at the end. But yeah, quite the very long video with final countdown against 888kiddeath888. And Alka193 will be seeing you next time in Duel 51.